go for the quench. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the workshop. It is fabulous to have you here because today is part 2 of working on this gigantic warhammer, Gendry'S gigantic warhammer from Game of Thrones. It's a pleasure to have you here, but first things first, TIG welding practice. And second thing second, we are going to lop off that end. Obviously, we made that end so that we could get that heavy chamfer in there. We're going to run onto the bandsaw. We're going to cut it off. We're also going to cut off this end, and then it's on to grinding the faces, grinding this point. Oh, this is going to be a lot of fun. Ugly duggly. So into the bandsaw we go. Now, obviously, this is going to be difficult to grip onto. So I'm going to take a big wooden wedge. I'm going to throw that in there. We're going to see if we can hold that somewhat square. I'm also going to take that piece of wood there. Let's bring down the bandsaw. There we go. And then we're going to line it up with the bottom of that V there. Make sure that it looks pretty square. I mean, yeah, we can always grind it to be perfect. And then we give the vise a little bit of a crank. And there we go. That feels pretty solid. It looks pretty square, so we're ready to turn on the bandsaw. Once the coolant flows, we will start letting her cut. Woo! Well, hey, there we go. That's cut off. Now we will loosen up this vise right here, and we will flip it around. So we'll drop this down, and we will line her up. Give it a crank. There we go. Oh, that does not feel solid. Thank goodness that I tried that. Take 2. Okay, that feels a little, not that better. Take 3. Okay, it's good. Here we go. Woohoo! There we go. And we are out of there. Here we go. Let me run you through my plan before I enter the deep dark depths of my grinding room where running through plans is a little more difficult. So, once I'm in there, I'm going to grind this with an angle grinder first, and then we'll go on to the belt grinder. We'll get a point on it, and we'll keep it nice and round and neat and pretty. I will also grind this face. You see it's out of square. We didn't lock it in the vise perfectly squarely, which is fine. We still need to grind it. We'll grind that face. I'll then take a wire wheel, a cut brush wire wheel, and an angle grinder. We'll wire wheel the whole thing. And if possible, I then want to do some intricate grinding all around the perimeter here. We'll see if that works. Maybe it doesn't. We'll see. It's an interpretation. Anyway, into the grinding room we go. So I've got both ends almost well roughed out. It's a real struggle though, because I'm trying to keep everything nice and level on the grinder as I work around here. But it's such a heavy piece. Very difficult to control. But it's going pretty well. No major complaints. I'm just hogging on through, making sure that I keep this kind of center line down the hammer, center line in both planes, and that I keep it nice and neat and round. There are just a few little bits right there where I need to grind past, and then I can move up to putting a 120 grit belt on here, and then moving on to finishing this stuff. Oh, blue Dykem, the best color there is, singing a song about Dykem. Woohoo! I figured it might look really, really cool to go ahead and put some put some kind of teeth into the face of this. So I'm gonna put some blue dichum on there, favorite dichum of all. And then once that dries, we'll then scribe ourselves some lines. I'm gonna use a 1mm cut-off disc here on the angle grinder, and we're just gonna shave in some hash marks. And I think that'll look cool, and it'd make it more deadly, yeah.
So I'm just finishing up here, putting the bevels on these little points here. It's been pretty fun. I have to say, for my first time doing it, I've enjoyed the process. You know, you're trying to be as delicate as possible with a power tool. It's pretty difficult to be as delicate as possible, but it's fun trying at least. And I like the look. It looks mean, looks vicious, looks like it would certainly hurt if you were to get hit with this.
So what I'm now gonna do is I'm gonna heat this up because I actually wanna make this fuller line here a little bit deeper because I think that'll work a little bit better with the proportions of how I want this thing to look. So I am going to light the forge. Obviously I usually take a scrapper piece of paper like this. We let it get hot, it goes inside the forge. I gently turn up the propane. And there we go! The forge is lit. We're gonna let it heat up, we'll put it in, we'll go to the say handle, we'll start forging it some more. I ended up making that an octagon, and I'm really pleased with how that looks. I think that's a really nice addition to the design of the piece. Okay, so what we're doing now is I'm filling this bucket up with water because I'm soon going to be hardening this thing. Of course, we have a wonderfully fantastic water displacing system that'll take the water from the tap and put it in the bucket, which is high-tech stuff. Cooling down this piece of steel. Because what we're now going to do is we're running into the grinding room. And speaking of grinding room, Carpenter Dave is doing a great job. Thank you, Dave. Hello. We have a window in the grinding room. Yeah, that's right. We've got a window. So the next plan is I'm going to take the small wheel attachment on my belt grinder, on the steel grinder, and I'm going to grind in here a little lip. So then it's going to have this deep facet, a smaller facet, and then down into the point. I think it's going to look really nice, and from some of the glimpses I saw of... What's the guy's name? Hey, Jamie! What's the guy's name again? Gandalf? Gendry. After seeing a few glimpses of Gendry'S hammer, it looks like his also has that lip in there. So I think that's going to help make it look nice, make it look a little more authentic. And of course, that's going to be a really, really interesting little addition here.
Okay, so here goes nothing. I got this set at a much slower speed than it would otherwise. Because of course, if you go really, really fast on a small wheel attachment, you're making those bearings do a hell of a lot of work. So I slow it down a little bit. I've got that universal tool rest underneath it. I'm going to be putting the point on it, and I can then kind of lever off it. Actually, what I'm going to do, I can make myself a little mark on it, and we're going to lever off it and start trying to grind all the way around. Hey, this is working pretty well, actually. Woo! Here we go. Time-lapse time, baby.
So I'm now going to use this. This is called a carbide burr. So it's got this, it's almost like a file, except you spin it really, really fast. And it's not made out of steel, it is made out of carbide. So it can take getting hot and it'll still stay sharp. I've now got this mounted in the vise. I'm now going to put a little radius on the inside edge, only on the side of the hole where the handle's driving in from, not from the other side. And then we're going into the forge to heat it up and harden it. There we go. Looks good. Time to run into the forge. Here we go. And turn on the gas. And we're away. Hey Jamie, what are the guesses on how much of this I spilled? Oh, nothing yet. Oh, I've bloody done it. Haven't spilt a drop. So the body of this has got up to temperature, which is lovely. We're gonna push it in just a little further, and we're gonna close off the forge. This is gonna let that point come up to temperature. We're soon gonna be ready to go in the water for the quench. Here we go, so this is 1040 steel. There's a bucket of water, in we go for the quench. And I wanna kind of shake it around as much as possible. I'd love to have more water. At the old shop, I had a beautiful big quench bucket. Here, this is the most I can get, especially after tripping and spilling so much. So I just keep moving it. The reason we move it is we don't want the steam to form a steam barrier that insulates the workpiece from the actual water. If I keep it in one place, then the steam, it forms a jacket. I believe it's called the Leidenfrost effect. And that jacket is very insulative, obviously, since it's not water. So it's not gonna cool it down as fast. To get an appropriate hardening, we need to cool this down really, really nice and fast. We're almost getting there. Do you want to get some tea bags, Jamie? We could make us a brew real fast. No. I was joking, Jamie. PG tips?
PG tips.
Okay, that's good. It's fine. Pretty good tea, actually. It's not that bad. So, that is now cool. What I'm gonna do is we're gonna set it up here. I'm gonna take an abrasive disc and I'm just gonna scratch the end. Because, okay, 1040 steel, this is good. I can just leave it as is for the hammer part, but for the point, it might just be a little brittle for the shape of that there. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna scratch it. Now it's scratched, we'll light up the rosebud, and we're gonna warm up the back here, and we're gonna let the heat run up towards the tip. We've got a dark straw up at the tip. That's perfect. It's nice and blue at the back. This is gonna be the type of heat treat that keeps it nice and hard, but doesn't make it too brittle. Now, of course, there's plenty of heat behind it. So what we're now gonna do is we're gonna arrest the temper. And again, it's 1040. That is as easy as going into the water. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you're watching in the future, make sure that you catch part 1 and part 2 of this series. If you're new here, what is this all about? What is this crazy kid with this fun workshop making things out of steel? Well, my name's Alec Steele. I make things out of steel. Do you get the irony? And we're usually forging things and grinding things and making fun things out of metal every single day. So make sure that you hit subscribe if you're new. Make sure you watch one of these 2 videos. That there is part 3 that's going to be coming out in the future. That there is the one to part 1. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow on the next episode. Thank you.